Almost. There we go. There we go. And we are live on YouTube and Instagram and everywhere else. All right, guys, welcome back to Medication Live. I'm your host. What's up, aquariums? Good morning, bro. My mic working? Yep, my mic is on. And my chat is on live chat. There we go, baby. All right. Let's get this started, bro.
More air traffic control.
Dude, how did it go yesterday with your date?
And TSA agents in Park.
You can't hear me? Can't hear me. Should be able to hear me. How did it go on your date, bro?
Rangers are about to go without a paycheck. You've got families and children that rely upon SNAP benefits that are going to go hungry here at the end of the week. You've got more critical workers, by the way, including the people who are the stewards of our nuclear defense arsenal, who are forced to stay at home as the government remains closed. The Democrats own every one of these consequences. So we want to point out a couple of important facts this morning for you. It's no coincidence that polling this week confirms that over 70% of the American people believe the Democratic Party is out of touch. And amazingly to us, still every day, they turn their backs on more and more hardworking American families to prolong their pain. And that is exactly what's being felt here. It is incredible to us that they've now voted 14 times between the House and Senate to reject the clean, simple funding bill that would simply reopen the government. 14 times they have thumbed their nose at the American people in spite of their pain that they themselves have acknowledged. And as we've explained here, the motivation behind that is very clear. And this is why the polling is indicating what it is. The people know the Democrats are...
That sounds like a successful day, bro. I want to get to what this guy was saying right here. This just happened live this morning, so we're literally like an hour after it went down. And I like that because I can go back and forth now. Here we go. I want to hear what this guy says.
Mast, thank you for your service to our country and for keeping the focus where it needs to be on making sure America stays strong in the midst of turbulent times. And
now, he actually talks about what the Democrats just said yesterday about how, you know, there's extra money and Trump is doing this, Trump is doing that. So let's listen to what he says and how he rebuttals that.
You know, what's so sad about this shutdown is that we don't need to be in these turbulent times. It was a self-imposed wound that Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer have imposed on the country. And if you look over this last month of the shutdown, you've seen Democrats literally playing a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde game with the American people. On one hand, they'll try to say, it's not us, it's the Republicans. Gee whiz, as the speaker talked about, oh, they control the House, Senate, and White House when they know that they are the ones that are shutting the government down. And then on the other hand, Mr. Jekyll's side, they're saying, that they know that they're causing pain on the American people. They admit that there is suffering, but they're doing it for leverage. So you can't have it both ways, Chuck Schumer. You can't wake up one day and say you're going to try to blame it on the Republicans, and then on the next day, you're trying to say that, gee whiz, we know that we're causing these problems. They're admitting they're causing suffering on people, but they're doing it for leverage. And they can't even explain what that leverage is, because they just need to show their radical base that they're having a fight with Donald Trump. It's all it's been about from the beginning. You really want to know who's calling the shots in the Democrat Party? You saw it on the stage this past weekend. Bernie and AOC on the stage with the new leader of the Democrat Party, Mandami. Maybe Chuck Schumer's waiting for Mandami to let him know when he can open the government back up again. But families can't wait because the real suffering is going to begin. It's already been happening, but it really hits home this weekend when SNAP benefits run out. And they know that. But I'm going to go through some of the lies, the myths, the things.
Solid, bro. I don't separate back day. I do back day with upper body. with pull-ups and lat pulls and all that kind of stuff. But good going with the creatine and the protein, baby. Asada, baby. Love it.
That they say when they know better. Chuck Schumer just yesterday said, quote, Republicans are in charge of the White House, the Senate, and the House, but they're refusing to do their job. Now,
by the way, creatine, they say it does way more than just help your muscles. It does actually, turns out they're saying that it does a lot for your brain, bro. I do creatine every day.
Chuck Schumer's been in Congress since the 1980s. And he knows that every day he's been there, there's been a requirement that you need not 51, not a majority like we need in the House. He was in the House where you did need a majority, and then he went over to the Senate where it's always been a requirement that you need a supermajority. And in fact, when they changed the rules, it's not a standard or a custom, it's an actual Senate rule that you need 60 votes. The rule used to be higher. And in 1975, many of you might have thought Chuck Schumer voted for that rule. He came in just a few years after. In 1975
How many pull-ups can you do, bro? Let's see.
is when they lowered the threshold to 60 votes. It used to actually be a higher standard in the rules. And so every day Chuck Schumer's been in Congress, it always took more than a simple majority, in fact, 60 votes to pass these kinds of bills through the Senate. And he knows that. So you'd ask, well, why is he trying to lie and mislead the American people? When he makes a statement like that, he knows he's trying to mislead the American people. And yet on other days, he does admit he knows he's causing suffering, but he's doing it for leverage. And so this game back and forth is what the American people are sick and tired of. Hakeem Jeffries, quote, we didn't view the current bill as anything other than a partisan Republican spending bill. He knows good and well that it was a clean CR. If Democrats still to this day don't know the difference between a clean CR and partisan bills, did they stop reading the bills? Because they used to vote for these bills just since 2017. Go look at the facts. Speaker likes talking about the
nice, dude. Aquariums did 12 pull-ups, 12, 12, 10, 10. That's solid. That's better than I could do right now.
Facts are important here.
That's good.
Since 2017, 30 different CRs, 30 times CRs have moved to keep the government open. And do you know 29 of the previous times Chuck Schumer's voted yes? 29. This 30th time is the only time Chuck Schumer has voted no. And of course you'd say, well, then what's changed if he's voted? 29 out of 29 times before this, he voted for clean CRs. What's changed? This is a clean CR. What's changed is the Democrat Party has changed. Mondami is now running the party. That party has changed. But the American people still have the same needs. The American people, again, the clean CR doesn't solve our differences. We still have big differences that we need to go negotiate, but let's just do it while the lights are on without the American people being held hostage. And of course,
wow, dude, you lost 40 pounds of your own, like you're saying you lost 40 pounds of weight just recently?
The final myth that's been out there for the beginning of this whole shutdown that we've debunked many times, that it's, quote, a total effing lie. That was Chuck Schumer's word. I think he actually used the word itself. That Democrats support free taxpayer-funded health care, free legals. That was Schumer saying that. And then, of course, when you read his alternative bill, his list of hostage demands, the $1.5 trillion spending bill, it includes in it a provision that repeals the verification we put in that says illegals can't get free health care. And CBO, not us, CBO said that would cost $200 billion in taxpayer health care benefits going to illegals. They know that. Of course they know it. And so why would they want to try to mislead the American people by over and over again making those statements? So here you can see it. Time and time again, the SNAP benefits comment the speaker talked about.
So you lost muscle, you're saying. Is that mostly muscle loss, you think?
They were warned in early October that 42 million people could be at risk in just weeks of losing their SNAP benefits if they didn't open the government. They knew that, and they want to play this game of chicken, this Jekyll and Hyde, one day trying to blame everybody but themselves, and then the other day taking ownership and admitting they're causing suffering, but they want to do it for leverage. You can't have it both ways. And more importantly, the American people are feeling the suffering. And this weekend, that suffering gets worse. And we have voted over and over again to prevent the suffering. It's not necessary. It shouldn't happen. And there's a way to avoid it. All they need to do is today, just 5 Senate Democrats need to get courage and say, we're not going to take our orders from Mondami or whoever else it is that are calling the shots over there. We're going to do the right thing and open this government back up so we can get into that negotiation over all of it.
I don't think they should be calling out Mamdani as the leader of the party, man. Gives him too much credit. The guy's just running for, he's not even elected anything yet. He'd never held a job, and these guys are calling Mamdani the leader of the party. I don't think that's smart. I mean, you got all the Jasmine Crockett's and AOCs, bro. You don't need Mamdani.
Of our differences.
Remind them who's really running the party, AOC and Bernie Sanders.
Which are many. But just don't hold the American people hostage while that goes on.
I'm like that too, bro. When I stop working out, I drop literally 15 pounds-ish of muscle, maybe more.
That'll bring up our whip. Tom Emmer.
What do you weigh though, bro? I hover around 220. But yeah, I lose about 15 pounds of muscle when I stop working out.
The Democrats have no leader, no vision, no message. And nothing proves it more than the chaos they have caused with their needless government shutdown.
Very much agree with what he said. They have no leader, no message. They haven't had a message since the election. Even before that, there was no real message. That's why they lost the election to Donald Trump. There was no clear message. And anything that was clear about the Democrat Party that was, let's just say, harmful to their message or to their to them getting votes, they didn't even discuss or denounce. In some cases, they continued with men in women's sports and men in women's bathrooms.
We are now 29 days into this mess, and the Democrats have contradicted themselves every turn with no exit strategy in sight. They've tried to make their shutdown fight about health care, while simultaneously demanding that we cut $50 billion in rural health care and give taxpayer-funded health care to illegal aliens.
Holy smokes, Aquarium, that's a big swing, bro. 253 in April. When you were back, when I went back into the gym last week, I was like, wow, 253 in April, down to 178. And now 191. Holy smokes, bro. That's a big swing, dude.
Not to mention the Americans who are suffering right now because critical health care services have been put on pause due to the Democrats' shutdown charade.
Solid state line. That's what I'm talking about. Dude, that's 250 down to 230, 240. There you go. Good. Good, dude. Are you working out?
On the issue of SNAP, Democrats are bending over backward to oppose Trump, using taxpayer dollars to fund frivolous lawsuits. Meanwhile, they are the ones...
Random, I'm down, bro. Well, I'll join you after the chat, after the stream. We'll jump on a voice chat.
...causing people to lose their SNAP benefits by refusing to reopen the government. Remember, all of this could have been solved in a matter of 5 minutes by 5 Senate Democrats if they would do the reasonable and right thing by supporting our clean CR. The same CR that they supported just 6 months ago, and as we've said over and over, that they passed 13 times under the Biden administration. But instead, they'd rather run in circles, tripping over their own feet in the process and hanging their constituents out to dry. Why? In order to attain political leverage and score points with the radical Mamdani and Omar Fata supporting that, by the way, for those of you that don't know, is the Mamdani of the Midwest, Omar Fata, supporting that wing of their party. Take it from the party who essentially wrote the government shutdown playbook. It doesn't work. Shutdowns achieve nothing but hurt everyone. So enough with the political games. Pass our clean CR and let's reopen the government for the people that you were elected to serve.
Damn, look who's here. What's up, Mia? Been a minute, dude. How you doing?
Well, good morning, everybody. Good to see you again. Let's get one thing straight right out of the gate. House Republicans did our job. Senate Democrats didn't. It's that simple. More than 1 month ago, under the leadership of Speaker Mike Johnson, the House passed responsible legislation to keep our government, your government, open. Meanwhile, Senate Democrats voted again and again to keep it shut down. So before anyone throws around cheap insults like one Democrat member did on social media this week, and I'll just read it. Lazy Mike Johnson has made himself irrelevant and pointless. You know, I always find that funny. When you can't beat us on the issues, what do children do? They personalize it. And that's exactly what this member is doing. He can't beat us on the issues. So he wants to attack our leader, who has done a remarkable job, and personalize it. We're not in 6th grade anymore. But maybe for some people they are in 6th grade. But let's remember the facts.
We're doing good, Mia. We just have our government shutdown, day 29. The Democrats shut it down, and now you got people pulling their hair out because they are lifelong, let's say they're stuck on basically welfare. Something that was supposed to be there as a safety net has now become a way of life for people. And they're complaining because they don't want to get jobs. They don't want to do anything. They don't want to be responsible for themselves, and they're stuck on SNAP benefits, which is fine. For those that use it as a safety net, for sure, that's what it's there for. But of course, like 99% of our government welfare programs, people abuse it and become accustomed to it, and they forget or never learn how to become responsible for themselves. And the Democrats won't sign bills to reopen our government, even when we offer them clean continuation bills that would continue things business as usual. They still won't sign it.
Republicans.
Yes, as Random says in the chat, it's generational welfare.
Acted.
A whole generation goes through it and they raise kids on it. Then they get the kids stuck on it. Then the kids grow up in that whole environment from birth. Then they have kids on it. And the cycle continues. Generational welfare.
The Democrats stalled. Mike Johnson has shown leadership, discipline, and focus. And what's lazy, I'll share with you what's lazy, is Democrats refusing to do their job and blaming everyone else for the problems in which they created.
Le Greek in the chat says, so the whole shutdown is because of welfare? No, the whole shutdown is because of, there's a couple main things. One main thing is the bogus USAID funding. Republicans realize it's wasteful spending. We're paying for like LGBTQ training in random African countries and I think India or some shit like that, and some kind of other, that kind of stuff that we took out of our spending. They want that back in. And they also want to give free healthcare and all sorts of things to illegal immigrants. So that's why they're holding up. They're shutting down our government because of that.
Because what Democrats are doing is wrong. And Americans, real Americans, hardworking Americans.
Amazing.
That's amazing.
are getting hurt.
What the?
I, for one, have had it. And I don't think I'm the only one out there. On Sunday, a Democrat House member admitted to the Wall Street Journal that his party is being pushed by far-left groups. He said the quiet part out loud, everybody. He said what we've been saying forever. He said Democrats were lying to the American people about the reason behind the shutdown. Well, that's a shock.
Lesbian.
Right? It isn't for health care. It isn't for health care, because if it was about health care, they wouldn't have stripped the $50 billion rural health care fund. I mean, come on, Democrats, get your stories straight. At least get a good story that you can spin to the American people, but you can't even keep your story straight. Listen, what the speaker said, Ronald Reagan was right. Trust the American people. And you know what? I'll say it again. When the facts aren't on your side, you have to personalize it and you have to lie. But the question right now is, at what point is the pain of the Americans going to outweigh the radical cries of their base? It wasn't when our troops almost didn't get paid. It wasn't when moms and infants were at risk of losing the food off their table. It wasn't when flights across the nation got canceled because air traffic controllers and TSA agents didn't get paid. No. When that happened, Democrats
What's up? Good morning, Jen.
said every day gets better for them. Really? Maybe because they're getting paid while the people who they represent are not. That's what they said. They said pain for the American people was their best leverage. They said maybe it was uncomfortable, but it was worth it to them. Really? Think about that. Let that settle in. Let that just sit for a minute. So now I ask, will it be enough pain this weekend when 42 million Americans lose access to food on their table? Will it be enough when 2 million Americans miss a paycheck? What Democrats are doing right now is absolutely cruel, but it's also dangerous. And I think Chairman Mast spoke very well on this issue, but let's build on that. When our skies aren't staffed, when our borders aren't secure, and when our troops are at risk of missing a paycheck, that is not a political strategy. That is a national security threat. Enough is enough. Americans do not want to be used as leverage, and they don't want to be
a lesbian.
About this whole conversation.
What?
Yeah.
So what is a man? Hold on. The thing that made a lesbian is that a female has sex with another lesbian female.
Sexual.
Kick the chair when they do. That goes for Joel and that other boyfriend, them two other boyfriends you got, just as well. You supple ass nigga.
Oh, goodbye.
Ooh.
Amazing. He black. Video where you with the crack. You just described a black person. No, a feminine man is a weak man because he's a woman. He's a beta.
No, he's not, Jesse.
Yeah, he's a beta.
No, he's not.
He is a beta.
I can't believe I'm being bullied right now.
Sorry, guys, I had to slip that in there.
as leverage for another $1 trillion of wasteful spending. They work way too hard for their paychecks. They want relief, they want leadership, and they want results. Democrats, please, I implore you, do what's right. Democrats, do what's right.
Stop begging them, bro. Don't need to say Democrats, please. They need to figure it out. And if they can't figure it out, let the buck stop with them. Let them have the responsibility, bro. Fuck it.
End the shutdown. End the suffering for the American people. Stop, as you say, leveraging the pain.
It's on them, and I think the further they go down this path, the more that people are going to have to actually look into this stuff, especially the people that are affected by it, will actually have to look into it and see who did what, as opposed to just being fed the BS from the CNNs and MSNBCs that they watch. They'll have to look a little further and see what's really going on. Make people dig deeper. Let them go all the way with it.
Vote for the Clean CR funding bill and let America move forward. Thank you.
All right, question.
Random is right. Even CNN and NBC are starting to flip. They're calling out their own Democratic Party. That's funding them.
Manu, go ahead.
Given how dire the huge threats for so many Americans right now, how do you justify the administration giving this big, massive bailout to Argentina, as well as calling for an increase in beef imports from Argentina?
Look, we give foreign policy, the execution of foreign policy, to the executive branch, and that's what the president is doing right now. There's lots of nuances about that. He's involved in negotiating trade agreements around the country to the great success and benefit of the American people right now. Dozens of them being worked out. He's overseas right now doing the same thing. And what he accomplished in Japan is a remarkable thing for the American people. And by the way, they've agreed to invest $550 billion into America, and that's good for everyone. So I can't get into the nuances of every single.
Talking about Japan again, man. Love that Japan has that new female prime minister, first conservative female prime minister. Where are the feminists at? Where are they right now? How come they're not excited about that? We're excited about it. And she's a car enthusiast. And she gifted President Trump like some golf bag or golf clubs, like handmade stuff from Japan. That's super cool. State Line sent this over, and I think I forwarded it to like a good part of this, but let's
carnage that these open border policies facilitated our colleagues that we're having.
This is about Joe Biden and how he was letting in millions of illegals, and he let in hundreds of thousands of children that needed to go to different homes, and if they had issues, they had a hotline. And you listen to.
They don't want to talk about the 300,000 kids that we still don't know where they are. They're upset that President Trump got elected. They're upset that he's doing exactly what he said he was going to do, and we're backing him up here in Congress. This is what the American people voted for because they saw 4 years of the carnage that these open border policies plagued on the United States. And
you know, what he said applies to everything that's going on right now, even with the No Kings protests and all this stuff. They're not able to take their loss. They lost the election a year ago, almost a year ago today. You know, we'll give or take a few weeks. But they lost the election last year. Donald Trump is the president. He's doing the things that he said he was going to do. The things that he ran on, the things that we looked at and said, you know what, that's what you're going to do? Great, we're going to vote for you. He said, okay, great, you voted for me. Now I got elected. Now I'm going to do those things that I said I'm going to do for you. He's doing them. And the Democrats are sore losers. They can't take the loss. And now they're acting up like a bunch of 2-year-olds. And quite frankly, 2-year-olds would not act up for this long. They would take the law. They would act up for a little bit and we move on.
we're talking about the NGOs that they used as middlemen to carry out their operations, like the Catholic charities they used to facilitate, normalize, and accelerate illegal immigration into this country. Ms. Hopper, you've worked closely with trafficking victims and survivors. I'd like to explore the role that the NGOs have played in enabling the trafficking and exploitation of unaccompanied alien children.
If you can't see the date on this, this was in July 16, 2025, months ago. This just happened. They're reviewing this stuff, going through it, and seeing what the hell happened.
Under the last administration, what safeguards were put in place to protect vulnerable unaccompanied children?
I previously discussed the post-placement welfare checks, which consisted of 2 phone calls. Again, if the sponsor didn't answer, the case was no longer followed up on. But there was also a notice of concern hotline where people could report concerns about the unaccompanied child's safety. But what this administration found was from August 2023 to January of 2025, 65,000 calls went unanswered. Those calls spanned from, complaints about stale bread all the way to being abused, to one case where a child's call was reporting that grown men were coming into his room at night and they were touching him. Nothing happened with that call. That call went unanswered until this administration took office, went through those 65,000 calls, made follow-ups, conducted a welfare check, and now that child has been rescued and that sponsor has been arrested. These are the safeguards that were put in place, but accountability and oversight was not had.
Wow.
So you're telling this committee that the Biden administration, while they were letting all of these unaccompanied minors into the country, and as we've talked about today, they weren't keeping track of them, they issued these kids a hotline that they could call if they had trouble with the sponsor family that they were put with. And you're saying that 65,000 calls to this hotline designated to protect these kids went unanswered? Is that what you're telling this committee?
Wow.
Yes, sir.
Wow. That is unbelievable.
65,000 phone calls within those 2 years went unanswered. What's up, Nikki? Welcome.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I believe you also said, Ms. Hopper, that according to your research, it was easier to adopt a pet or a dog than it was to get one of these children. Is that what you said?
I said that it was easier to get a child, yes, than to adopt a dog. You actually had to provide more paperwork to adopt a pet from a pet shelter than you did to sponsor a child.
Yeah, and think about it, guys.
Bro. Dude, is this real? Like this is an actual hearing, bro. This is a senator, bro. Is this, I mean, it seems like it's like made up what I'm watching right now.
Yeah, and think about it, guys. This is
to adopt a dog. I said that it was easier to get a child, yes, than to adopt a dog. You actually had to provide more paperwork to adopt a pet from a pet shelter than you did to sponsor a child.
Yeah, and think about it, guys. This is
wow, bro. That is insane. Insane, bro. Le Greek says easier access for pedos. Dude, that's insanity, bro.
exactly why the American people are so upset. This is why they voted for the president, and this is why they voted for this agenda, to not only remove people from this country, to secure our borders, but to find these kids. I mean, this is
Aquariums in the chat says very real, and this is the vanilla version. Much worse happened to these kids. A bunch of them are still missing and have been found dead. Wow, bro.
completely atrocious in a day and age where we're starting to wake up to the realities of sex trafficking and what's going on with these kids. They let all these kids in. We still don't know where over 300,000 of these kids are. And you're sitting here testifying, saying that they gave a hotline for these kids to report if they were okay, if they needed anything, and 65,000 calls went unanswered. Do you know how many staffers the administration assigned to answering these phones and helping these kids?
One
staffer?
What?
Any idea how many hours a day this staffer was working?
No.
Maybe that's why there were 65,000 calls that weren't answered from these little kids, huh? Unbelievable. Thank you. I yield back.
The gentleman yields back.
Wow, that is absolutely insane, bro.
You know, complaints about 2023 to January
I want to hear these dates again.
found were concerns about the unaccompanied child's safety. But what this administration found was from August 2023 to January of 2025, 65,000 calls went unanswered. Those calls spanned from, complaints about stale bread, all the way to being abused, to one case where a child's call was reporting that grown men were coming into his room at night and they were touching him. Bread all the way 5,000 from August 2023 to January of 2025. From August 2023 to January of 2025.
August 2023? That's not even a year and a half, dude. It wasn't 2 years, not even a year and a half. Wow, dude.
Senator
That's
Hawley?
insane.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thanks to the witnesses for being here. I think it's safe to say that all of you are here today because you are opposed to government censorship. Is that right? Have I got that broadly correct? Okay, we can agree on that much. Book banning is a form of government censorship. Is that, broadly speaking, correct? Professor Knox, you're an expert in this. Let me just ask you, book banning is a problem under the First Amendment because it's the government telling private individuals, authors, what have you, what they can and cannot write, telling the public what they can and cannot read. Is that, broadly speaking, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
So now, what if the books were digital only? Could the government ban them then? So no hard copies, no physical copies, it's just digital books. Could the government engage in book banning then under the First Amendment? No problem.
No, that's about a format of the particular book, and that really doesn't matter when it comes to whether or not government is banning a book.
Okay, what if the government made a list of authors whose books it wanted banned, and also went to all of the publishing houses in America, the government did, and said, do not publish the books by any of these authors or we will punish you? Is that a problem under the First Amendment?
My hope is that the government would not be involved in the decisions of a private company.
Good. I would hope so too, but apparently that is not the case in the United States of America today under this administration, because the hypotheticals I've just given you aren't hypotheticals at all. They've happened, and we know that they are happening. The Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals just ruled in a case, Missouri versus Biden. I'm sure you're all familiar with this. It's going to go down, I think, as a landmark case in the worst possible way in First Amendment law, because what the Court of Appeals found is that the White House, not just the federal government, but the White House, actively coerced every major social media platform in America. Let me say that again. Every major social media platform in America to ban speech that the White House did not like. What are we talking about here? Well, we're talking about speech on the COVID-19 pandemic, speech on the 2022 congressional elections, speech related to mask mandates, speech related to vaccines. What did the White House do? Well, over a period of years, they met with, on a regular basis, the leaders of social media companies and demanded that the speech they did not like be taken down. They further demanded that these same social media companies amplify the White House's speech. Amazing. So take down all of this speech that we don't like, amplify our own speech. Unbelievable. What kind of speech are we talking about? Well, for example, not just public officials.
I mean, this goes back to that video that I played for you guys that explains we are a constitutional republic, not a democracy, right? If 51% of the people decide, you know what, we want to ban this freedom of speech, they can ban it if it's a democracy. But if we are true to our constitutional republic, 51% of the people cannot get together and vote and say we're going to ban this freedom of speech, this speech or this expression. And so that's what's happened. Democrats are using their democracy. Well, I mean, they're not being true to our constitutional republic, and they're censoring Americans.
But parents, here's an example from my state, the state of Missouri. I'm reading you from the opinion here. One parent who posted on nixdoor.com, which is a site operated by Facebook, posted an online petition to encourage his school to remain mask optional, found that his posts were removed without notifying him, and his friends never saw them. Another parent in the same school district who objected to mask mandates for school children responded to Dr. Fauci.
Dude, I want to get into this right here.
My teams have been in contact with you, working in discussion, and we're happy to continue this conversation.
Okay, the Wall Street Journal recently reported that Meta plans to use people's conversations with Meta AI chatbots to personalize ads served to them. Find this concerning. How will Meta protect people's privacy while
This is live. I don't know if this is actually happening right now, but this is a live video.
selling information about their private conversations to advertisers?
Senator, we will remain committed to investing heavily in safety, heavily in privacy, making good policy, and having the necessary safeguards. I'm not familiar with the Wall Street Journal article that you're referencing, but I'm happy to have the team follow up.
Okay. I also wanted to reiterate Senator Cantwell's line of questioning about the need to have a free press. Free press is about no censorship, and I'm looking forward to Chairman Carr's arrival at our committee here. But free press is also about having free press exist. And right now, I think everyone knows here that Senator Kennedy and I for a long time have led this bill on trying to find some way out of this with, which has been exacerbated by AI so that journalists get paid for their content. There's lawsuits going on. I know all of this, but we're not really going to have a free press if the economics are such that their content can be taken and then no one is able to report on anything and we don't have local news. So I hope you're all thinking about that as we hopefully go forward with actual AI legislation, privacy legislation. We're going to have to do something to account for that. And we're clearly, before this next election, going to have to do something about marking these, not just ads, but videos as digitally altered. I will note in my case, Meta did mark it as digitally altered, and that TikTok actually took it down, and that, I don't know what YouTube did, and that X actually did nothing. And so that, to me, just shows how we need some rules in place.
Thank you. Senator Blackburn.
Thank you. I will note that Google lost a lawsuit yesterday dealing with the press, and so we noted that. Mr. Potts, I want to come to you since my colleague, Senator Klobuchar, was talking about kids and safety online.
Yes, ma'am.
You all have spent $20 million lobbying against what we've tried to do to make the virtual space safe for kids. $20 million in the first 9 months of this year. You have 87 lobbyists fighting against any regulation because kids are the product for you all. 87 lobbyists, one for every 6 members of Congress. I hope you're getting your money's worth because you are killing kids, and we know it, and we know what you are doing. I am so sick of what you all are doing. You should be ashamed of how you are putting kids at risk. And you should be coming to the table to work with us because we're trying to protect people in the virtual space. There are rules in the physical space, but not in the virtual space, but money hungry. That is what you all are. Your valuation is built on eyeballs, and you come in here and want to soft talk this, it is infuriating. It is absolutely infuriating. Mr. Erickson, I want to come to you, please, sir. I appreciate.
Damn, Miss Blackburn's getting down, dude. Republican Party senator from 1999 to 2003. And she's Tennessee, bro. Damn. Got some flavor, a little spice. I like it.
What you had to say about AI resources.
Gives me Senator Kennedy vibes, dude.
And about being proud. Mr. Erickson, I'm talking with you, sir. And wanting to be a trustworthy company. But let's talk about Gemma. And I want to bring up the issue of Robbie Starbuck, who lives near me in Tennessee. He's a conservative leader. I don't know if you're familiar with Mr. Starbuck.
I'm familiar with who he is. Yes, Senator.
Okay, thank you. because I'm going to put some things up that Gemma did. Gemma, and the way you're training these LLM models is not something you should be proud of, and it doesn't embody trust, because Gemma created an entire falsehood around Mr. Starbuck, saying he had been accused of child rape. Totally false. Totally false. So then we asked Gemma if Senator Blackburn had publicly defended Robbie Starbuck. And it goes on to say that I publicly and actively defended Robbie Starbuck. Now, here are the prompts that are there, and here's the response. It made up articles, and I'll be able to hand you this poster so you can see this in detail. But this is insulting that you are so biased against conservatives that you would create this entire story around Robbie Starbucks with links to stories, and this entire story around me. Totally false. All of it is false. So why don't you tell me how you are scraping data and training these LLMs that they would come up with not a 1 degree, but a 2 degree complete falsehood?
Senator, thank you for letting me clarify. The way we train our LLMs is to train on publicly available information.
It's not publicly available, sir, because it is fake news. Gemma made it up. So what are you feeding in on the training that would allow such a, I mean, this is just wild. It's fiction.
So, Senator, it's well known that LLMs will hallucinate. It's a known issue.
What did he just say? So we're talking about AI right now. I just have to look this up because Gemma is like this. Gemma is a series of open source large language models. So LLM, large language models. So Gemma is the AI. So Gemma made up some stuff, and now he's saying they hallucinate.
To shut it down.
What?
And we do work.
It's on a bad drug, and the bad drug is your input.
Thank you, Senator. We do work at Google very hard to mitigate those hallucinations.
Obviously not hard enough. So how are you going to clean this up?
Senator, again, we are working to mitigate those kind of hallucinations on LLMs. Gemma is our open source AI model. I'm not familiar with the examples. I will take your word for it. Thank you for providing those.
You're going to be able to take the word for it because we're going to deliver these examples to you. Mr. Potts.
Damn, bro. Maybe this is live right now.
I want to come back to you.
What the hell?
Listening to your testimony, I find it so curious that when your mistakes, you say mistakes happen, but your mistake.
Mia was talking about Epstein files. I think she's, you got, dude, everyone on the left, all they have to say is Epstein files. It's like their keyboard only allows them to type Epstein files in any of these chats or any of these social media platforms. All you see are Epstein files. They don't realize that there's a whole entire world going on that's moving forward with things that are being, done. We have lots of other things that we're working on right now. By the way, let's never forget the only president that ever did anything about Epstein files are President Trump. No other president did anything about the files except for Trump.
Always happen against conservatives. So what's the rationale for that?
Senator, thank you for that question. If I may just go back.
You don't need to thank me for the question. Just give me the answer.
Understood. If I may go back, I just wanted to, respectfully disagree with your thought that we are attempting to hurt children or hurt kids, as you put it, for
You made a playground for pedophiles.
Senator, we work tirelessly with
For groomers,
with law
for
enforcement
predators.
to remove that type of content from our
85%
platform.
of the kids that meet a drug dealer meet them online, Mr. Potts.
Senator,
You all need to.
I've said it before with the Epstein files. They said they're going to release everything, and I think they should. And I think that's a criticism that I have of Trump and the Trump administration. If you say you're going to do it, do it. And that's my take on it, and I will wholeheartedly criticize. But to continue to make everything about the Epstein files, to me, is silly.
To take this seriously, and you're not, because your money.
Literally, if I go on any other video on YouTube and you look at people's chat, all you see is just people typing Epstein files. That's all they say. They don't even have another word. They just say Epstein files with an exclamation. So to do that is retarded, in my opinion.
Hungry, I yield back my time.
Senator, I respectfully disagree. We do work hard on these issues.
Senator Lujan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Erickson, simply yes or no. Did YouTube pay $24.5 million to settle President Trump's lawsuit against the company, the majority of which goes toward Trump's ballroom?
Senator, I believe you're referring to the lawsuit that we recently settled. The settlement terms were that we would provide, I believe that's the right number. It's close.
Let me ask it again. Right, yes or no? Yes or no? Did YouTube pay $24.5 million to settle President Trump's lawsuit against the company, the majority of which goes toward President Trump's ballroom?
Senator, we settled our lawsuit with President Trump. Yes.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Mr. Potts, yes or no? Did Meta pay $25 million to settle President Trump's lawsuit against the company, the majority of which goes towards President Trump's ballroom?
Senator
Library,
Lujan.
sorry, library.
Sorry, Senator Lujan, I'm only familiar with what is available in news reporting.
Yes or no? Did Meta pay President Trump $25 to settle a...
Senator, I was not connected to any of those decisions.
What's your title? Aren't you an executive at Meta?
Senator, that is correct. I focus on our internal rules for what we allow and do not allow.
Mr. Potts, I'm sorry Mr. Kaplan didn't have the courage to be here. I understand he got invited, but he's not here. Sorry you're getting the questions. Everybody in this room knows, everyone watching knows that you all paid $25 million, man. Like that's, yes, just yes.
So that if you're going to make that statement, why are you asking questions, bro?
But if you don't want to
You're getting all worked up for nothing.
answer that, let me move on. Now, did President Trump say that Mr.
These dudes trying to act like they're as good as Kennedy or Hawley.
Zuckerberg?
You're not, bro. Let's pull up Hawley, bro. Let's show you how you run a hearing.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Let me show you guys how to run a hearing, bro.
It's a nice title for you to have. It's good to get to be on this committee with you. Thanks for convening this hearing. Let's take a look here at something that Facebook, Meta, whatever, something that they've said, Mark Zuckerberg in particular said, or was reported in 2021, senior officials from the Biden administration, including the White House, repeatedly pressured this is Zuckerberg speaking, pressured our teams for months to censor certain COVID-19 content, including humor and satire, expressed a lot of frustration with our teams when we didn't agree. Ultimately, it was our decision whether or not to take the content down. Now, the point that I want to get at, and maybe I'll start with you, Ms. Hemingway, because you and your outlet were a target of a lot of this and were censored left, right, center. You personally were censored. Don't you think that Facebook needs to be held accountable for their role in all of this? I mean, so Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg says, oh, gosh, they were so mean to us, the Biden people, they threatened us, and they did. Biden did. Was that unconstitutional? I think it was. This is why that Supreme Court case that we've been talking about today, the Missouri case, is so significant. But isn't it also true that, as Zuckerberg himself says in the statement, it was their decision, they owned it, and truthfully, Facebook and others have a pattern of censoring long before this, the Hunter Biden laptop story. They gleefully, willfully censored on their own. They have been avid participants in this censorship campaign. Would you agree with that, Ms. Hemingway?
Yes. Mark Zuckerberg, who spent nearly $450 million in the 2020 election to control the outcome there, has recently done a few little things like saying, oh, I was sort of pressured to do this censorship, or, oh, I'll give $1 million to the inauguration committee, as if this in any way makes up for the campaign of censorship that he was engaged in, which which was probably valued even more than the money he gave to the election, to censor and silence voices like mine and my publication because we said things on all sorts of topics that were at odds with what he wanted, whether that's the radical trans agenda, how elections should be run, how to respond to the COVID pandemic, all sorts of topics where in a free society you should have free and open debate. And he worked very hard to keep that from happening. So I find these statements kind of interesting, but they nowhere near deal with the agency
I'm going to tag this and make a reel out of this. This is insane,
that
bro.
he had on this and how much power he has as the head of Facebook.
Yeah, I'm glad you just used the word power because that's a big part of this story, isn't it? Companies like Facebook, Meta have enormous structural power that Mark Zuckerberg has spent, to your point, he has spent billions of dollars amassing. He has worked to destroy competitors who might break that power up, challenge that power in any way. He has used that power to stifle competition. He's used it to stifle views he doesn't like. This is a textbook example of what happens when a monopoly that has a political agenda, in this case, a very hard-edged political agenda for years, when they use that monopoly in order to try to control other competitors and also to try to control the information that flows to the American people. Do I have that right, do you think?
Yes, and the political system itself, which had previously been so supportive of him, and the work that he did to silence, again, not just in the election sphere, but those journalistic voices that were countering his preferred policy objective.
That's just terrific, and you are perfectly placed to talk about that and to bring this to light. I think it's so vital.
I mean, we all know that private money or even corporate money can determine or sway what media companies are going to put out there. We know that. Just like I'm doing right now, I have my own little, let's just call me a miniature media company, a media company, and I can say what I want. And but these bigger corporations, bigger media, all these NBCs and CNNs and all this stuff, they can be paid by whoever and say what they want. I think the problem is when the government is twisting their arm and making them do it or funding them. That's the problem. That's why I wholeheartedly agree with, taking funding away from NPR and the likes. That's the problem, is the government doing it and doing it for one political side, whether it be left or right.
But we don't lose sight of the role that these massive companies, and there's just a few of them. I mean, it's Google, it's Meta, that the control that they have amassed and that they have used to try and dictate, frankly, what Americans can see. And we know in the case of Google, we've had testimony in this committee and subcommittees before, Google has rigged their search results to try and influence independent voters and try to sway elections for years, and not just in this country. They've done it in other countries. They've done it in Australia. These are massive monopoly corporations that have political agendas that have been using their market power to try and influence. Actually, that's not strong enough to try and control outcomes in our political system. That is a problem. And I would just submit, until we deal with their power, this problem is going to persist. Thank you all for being here. Mr. Chairman, thank you for having this great.
Wow. Insane, bro.
Take a look.
I wish people would look at the fact that you have a president of the United States who consistently is obsessing over 2 women of color that are members of the House.
All right, we've got Jasmine Crockett's full rant coming up later in the show, but just to be clear.
What happened to the ghetto accent? All of a sudden she cleaned it up for that interview.
This kind of vitriol is nonstop from elected Democrats. They literally have nothing else to offer this country. Now, of course, the most frequent smears involve some kind of Nazi or Hitler comparison. But on MSDNC, a shocking display of gaslighting. Nicole Wallace and Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker agreed. Democrats, they've never, ever made such vile comparisons that we made it all up. Take a look.
I haven't suggested that Donald Trump is Hitler. I wouldn't say
I don't
that
think any Democrat has. I actually, and I think it's a smear that they project back on to critics.
I've never suggested that. I don't think any Democrat has. We're now reaching insane levels of total, complete dishonesty on the left. There's a disconnect from reality. Let's go back to the videotape. In fact, Governor Pritzker himself is constantly comparing the Trump administration to Nazi Germany. He does this almost every single week. We will remind him he must be suffering from Joe Biden-itis. Take a look.
I studied the Holocaust. I helped to build a Holocaust museum. This is what happened in the early days of the Nazi regime in Germany. Everything that he has done has been tearing down constitutional democracy. And that's what happened in Nazi Germany. It doesn't take very long to tear apart a constitutional republic. Indeed, the Nazis did it in 53 days. And our democracy is almost as fragile. And we're seeing it right now. The dangers that we saw in
Mia, what channel? What did this channel push me onto another channel? What do you mean?
Nazi Germany, especially in the earliest days of Nazi Germany, are the dangers that we need to react to now. People have criticized me for talking about the Nazi regime. It's the one I know most about because I helped to build a Holocaust museum. This is what happened. People's rights started getting taken away.
Nice, Mia. Welcome to our Discord. Right on. Oh, on to Discord. I see what you're saying.
Got accused of being
I think that's what you mean.
This is before the Holocaust really took place. There are lots of authoritarians that I could point to. It happens that I know best because I helped build a Holocaust museum sitting next to Holocaust survivors about what the Nazis did in those early years.
I understand that.
What's up, Maddie? Oftentimes when I go to Starbucks and I tell them my name is Mehdi, they put Maddie.
I'm not talking about the Holocaust. I'm talking about what they were doing, taking away people's rights, arresting people, asking them for papers. Early on in an authoritarian regime, wherever it is in the world throughout history, this is what happens. It's the beginning of something very bad for our country.
Nah, he's never used Nazi comparisons at all. And it's not just Pritzker. Pretty much everyone in the Democratic Party loves to throw around Nazi references. Take a look.
We have a Timu Hitler in the White House right now.
A Timu Hitler, she said.
I don't even know what to call him. I've called him so many things. But this wannabe Hitler, for sure.
Comparing the tactics of Donald Trump to Mussolini and Hitler is a very legitimate thing.
Let me ask you tonight, do you think Donald Trump is a fascist?
Yes, I do.
Donald Trump's modern-day Gestapo is scooping folks up off the streets.
He is paving the way to become a Vladimir Putin or to become an Adolf Hitler or a Kim Jong-un. That's what he wants to be.
Is that not going too far?
This is another reel, I think. I think I got to make another reel out of this. Holy cow, I'm going to be busy.
To make a comparison between the President of the United States and the Nazis?
Find me a better analogy.
Well, Hitler was duly elected. That's right. Right? And so all of a sudden, somebody with those tendencies, those dictatorial, authoritarian tendencies would be like, oh, okay, we're going to shut this down. We're going to throw these people in jail. And they didn't usually telegraph that. Trump is telling us what he intends to do.
This is a very dark, vengeful time in the Democratic Party. In fact, that's why Democrats continue to shut down our federal government. This is all one big, angry Trump derangement syndrome stunt in order to gain some kind of political leverage. And they're saying it. Yeah, we know people will suffer, but we need the leverage.
Yeah, Mia, we've been watching this, dude. We've been seeing this, and we've been blown away this whole time. We're like numb to it now. They said they called him Hitler and Nazis so many times. They ran out of harsh things to call him. They used everything up, and they took the weight away from these words. So calling someone Hitler now is like it's very common. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, cool, whatever.
Over Donald,
it's not a thing anymore. The weight is gone from that.
Trump approved.
It's wild, the type of world we live in.
They can stand up to Donald Trump, the president they detest so much. Take a look.
Republicans control the House, the Senate, and the White House. Frankly, this is our only moment of leverage. And although a very unpleasant tool to use, it's gotten us focused on what we have to do to change direction on health care.
At the very same time, Democrats are once again lying about the shutdown. It's the Schumer shutdown. They're trying to blame Trump while voting 13 times to keep the government closed. Last week, they
What's up, man?
specifically voted against funding our military, brave men and women that put their lives on the line for us. Today, they specifically voted against funding federal SNAP benefits and food assistance programs. As of Saturday, they are completely out of money. That will impact over 42 million Americans. But according to one Democrat who voted to keep the government closed, it's all President Trump's fault. Figure that out.
There's nothing stopping the Trump administration from making
The Wicked Witch of the West, bro.
that every single one
Or East. I don't know which one it is.
of the 42 million Americans, 16 million children, 8 million seniors, 4 million people with
Take a look, Mia. These are the people running our country.
disabilities.
These are the leaders of the Democrat Party. Sorry, not running our country. We got the Great White Hope running our country right now.
The Great White Hope. 1.2 million veterans received nutrition assistance in November.
All right, the American people, they're not dumb. Everything will go back to normal if Democrats simply vote for a clean, nonpartisan, continuing resolution which funds the government at current levels. This is a crisis caused by the Democratic Party that said they were all against shutdowns. Schumer's whole career was against shutdowns. If Republicans, in fact, are actually surging in the polls as they are, well, let's take a look. 28 days into the shutdown, this isn't working for the Democrats. It's backfiring big time tonight. Take a look.
Take a look here, the shift in net popularity versus pre-shutdown. When we're looking at the Republican Party overall, that brand actually up 2 points. That's within the margin of error, but clearly it hasn't dropped. Come over to this side of the screen. Look at the net approval ratings for Republicans in Congress. It's actually up 5 points since pre-shutdown. So what we're seeing here is the Republican brand in Congress has actually improved somewhat compared to where we were pre-shutdown.
All right. So why does the government remain closed? Well, the answer is pretty telling. Democrats aren't doing this for the good of the country or to be popular across the country. Instead, they are playing to their radical socialist base that wants to burn it all down, transform America into the socialist utopia with free buses, free housing, health.
Must have The media and our friends in the Democrat Party kept saying we needed new legislation. We must have legislation to secure the border. But it turned out that all we really needed was a new president.
That's right.
The media and our friends in the Democrat Party kept saying we needed new legislation. We must have legislation to secure the border. But it turned out that all we really needed was a new president.
A new president. That's right. That's right. I could watch this on loop.
Media and our friends in the Democrat
is beautiful.
Saying we needed new legislation. We must have legislation to secure the border. But it turned out that all we really needed was a new president.
Bro, look here's her again. You guys ready for this?
This is the ranking Rizzler on the.
Listen to this, bro. You guys want to see Miss Purple Hair? Check this out.
Yo, this is the ranking Rizzler on appropriations, serving Connecticut's 3rd District. It's time to enter your dark academia Congress era.
Damn, the music. I can't play the music, but you get the point. The ranking Rizzler, she called herself. This is Miss Purple Hair, bro.
Black. You just described a black person. No, a feminine man is a weak man because he's a woman. He's a beta.
No, he's not, Jesse.
Yeah, he's a beta.
No, he's not.
He is a beta.
I can't believe I'm being bullied right now on...
care, and whatever else Zoran, Kami, Marxist Mamdani is offering. Take a look.
Here is what we stand for, my friends. We are going to freeze the rent for more than 2 million rent-stabilized tenants and use every resource at our disposal to build housing for everyone who needs it. We are going to eliminate the fare on every single bus line.
He's going to destroy New York, bro.
And make what are currently the slowest buses in the nation move around this city with ease. And we are going to create universal child care at no cost.
Hold on. Let's zoom in here, guys. Let's zoom in. You guys ready for the zoom in? You guys ready for this? Let's zoom in here. What's going on here? Look at this right here, bro. Look at this.
Cost to parents.
That is their new fearless leader. So let me get the
fare is what
buses free. Kami Mamdani
is what we stand for, my
Look,
friends.
let's do the zoom in.
We are going to freeze the rent for more than 2 million rent-stabilized tenants.
Damn, bro.
And use every resource at our disposal to
It's
build
Slurpee
housing
time, baby.
for everyone who needs it. We are going to eliminate
Bro, you got to hand it to these guys. They're locked in. Their eye is on the prize. Dude, they're taking New York City, bro. These are your new leaders right here. These are your new leaders of New York City. Look, they're standing right behind him. Zoran Mamdani. Look at that. These are your leaders, bro, taking over New York, bro. New York. These are your leaders.
Fare on every single bus line. And make what are currently the slowest buses in the nation move around this city with ease. And we are going to create universal child care at no cost to parents.
That is their new fearless leader.
So how are they going to do that? So how is this guy going to do all that? Check it out. He's going to make buses free, subways, he wants to make all the transportation free, right? So no more paying to get on the subway or anything. So take the funding away from it. Then he wants to somehow make them improve them, right? So he wants to improve them while taking funding away from them. How does he do that? Charging the people that earn the most money in New York additional taxes. Then what happens when you do that? Let's just do some basic economics, dude. What happens when you charge the people making the most money more taxes? When they already want to leave, when all the other ones have already left because of the taxes, you have a few more that hold on, and now this guy wants to charge them even more money. So reach into some people's pockets to put it into other people's pockets, right? They leave. Exactly, state line. They leave. Economy collapses. New York is Dunsky, bro.
Buses in the nation move around.
They leave. So what happens when the top earners leave? Exactly, Michael Whitten. The rich will leave. What happens when the rich leave and you don't have those tax dollars to keep giving this free stuff away to everybody? What happens? Then they have to tax everyone else. And if you know economy and you know our country, the top 1% pay, I believe, about 50% or more of all taxes. If they leave, that is so much tax revenue that the rest of the population can't pay that. The top 1% pays for about, I believe, 50% or more of all taxes. The next 20% below the top 1% pay another like 20 or 30%. So the entire bottom 2/3 of taxpayers only pay for, like, I think it's about 20% or less, maybe is it 10%? And when it comes time for them to cover all the taxes because they ran all the top earners out and they can't do that, that's when the place goes to the shitter. It's done. Random says 12%. The bottom 2/3, is that what you're saying, Random? The bottom 2/3 of taxpayers pay 12% of all taxes? Guys, this is basics, bro. These are basics.
Around this city with ease.
Random says yes. Thank you, bro. Appreciate that. Thanks for that clarity, man. Thanks for being on it. The bottom 2/3 pay for 12% of taxes. And after you're done squeezing down and choking out the rich, how are you going to cover that? You're right. Random is right. The bottom 2/3, Crazy Ange, what's up? Random is right. The bottom 2/3 also accounts for people who are on welfare, who pay nothing. What happens when you have to take away their welfare and make them pay? Maybe it's a good thing, bro. Maybe they'll become responsible for themselves.
And we are going to create.
And I think that's why a lot of people say, you know what? Let New York go through this. Maybe they need to go through this. Maybe they need to have their reckoning with themselves, you know?
Create universal child care at no cost to parents.
That is their new fearless leader. So let me get this straight. The party that wants everything to be free voted today to take away food benefits from 42 million Americans, including the sick, the elderly, and young children. Now, there's one thing that Comrade Marxist Mamdani doesn't want the government to pay for. That would be the police.
Random is right, man. Sometimes you have to hit rock bottom to get better.
There's one thing Mamdani doesn't want to have happen.
NP in the chat, what's up? It says, hey, maybe we could buy some NYC real estate for pennies on the dollar in a few years. Oh,
and he doesn't
man.
even want the police. Send in the social workers. According to a vile 2023 anti-Semitic rant from Mamdani, the NYPD is actually, don't tell anybody, they're controlled by Israel's IDF. Take a look.
For anyone to care about these issues, we have to make them hyperlocal. We have to make clear that when the boot of the NYPD is on your neck, it's been laced by the IDF.
There's the guy that's going to be the next mayor of New York City, the leader of the NYPD. And by the way, this wasn't some kind of one-off comment. Let's take a look down, Mamdani history, if you will. This is from 2020. His words, quote, queer liberation means defund the police, and quote, we don't.
Min says, I don't see the average New Yorker leaving anytime soon. I agree. Just like when they squeezed down on us here in California, the average Californian doesn't want to leave. Some do, of course. A lot do, actually. And I've seen a lot leave, but not on in general. No, we're not going to leave, obviously. But the top earners or the corporations that are entities in the state will leave.
Don't need an investigation to know.
Because corporations are classified as entities. Companies are entities. They will leave.
Know that the NYPD is racist, anti-queer, and a major threat to public safety. What we need is to defund the NYPD, not to fake cuts. Defund the police. Here's another tweet. Quote, defund the harem police. Another, in New York City, 99% of office holders are Democrats, yet they refuse to defund cops who murder with impunity.
He said defund the haram police.
99% of office public safety. Fake New York City, 99% of office. Here's another tweet, quote, defund the harem police.
Defund the haram police. Haram in Islam is like something that goes against Islam. That's what he's saying there. Mamdani says defund the haram police.
Another, in New York City, 99% of office holders are Democrats, yet they refuse to defund cops who murder with impunity. Electing Democrats isn't enough. We need a political revolution. Another, quote, together we can tax the rich, heal the sick, house the poor, defund the police, build a socialist New York, solidarity forever. Now, that should be disqualifying, but sadly, it now perfectly represents the new radicalized Democratic Party. In fact, it's not really the Democratic Party anymore. Instead, there are two factions, the socialists that hate our American way of life, and then there's the performative Democrats who are clinging to power, bowing at the altar of the radicals, desperate to placate them and soothe that radical base so they can at least be leaders in name only, like Chucky Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries. Dark days indeed for the Democratic Party lay ahead.
Want even more Fox News on YouTube? Become a Fox News patriot.
Yeah, we have a lot of Muslims that are doctors here too, and from my experience, I have not had good experience with Muslim doctors. So whenever I've had a Muslim doctor, I would quickly change them. Again, not because of any kind of hate or discrimination, but just because of they just weren't doing what I needed them to do. They weren't good at what they do, or I don't know what the deal was, but I just didn't have a good experience at all.
Might need to spend his life in prison in his book that was released in 2024? Do you know the answer to that, or I need to get you a copy of the book?
Senator, I'm aware of that statement. Yes, before the 2024 election.
So both of these lawsuits were originally brought in 2021, sat in courts for 4 years before they were settled, and President Trump's lawyers knew they didn't have a case and that your companies would settle due to the potential for regulatory retaliation. This has been written about a lot. In fact, President Trump's attorney stated, quote, if he had not been reelected, we would have been in court.
Division is available for free on YouTube. They are a creator partner of ours. They have millions of viewers. We also make the Univision app available in our Play Store to download for free.
Random in the chat says Hindu doctors are pretty decent. I would say I've had decent experience with Hindu doctors, and I had better experience with younger Hindu doctors. But now I'm a completely different.
I believe the issue.
I have a white doctor that I love.
Who you're talking about?
Actually, I also have Vietnamese, and I'm not sure what
is with
race they
YouTube
are.
TV, which is our virtual MVPD. It's a virtual cable company. And when those carriage negotiations are up for renewal, like every cable company and network, there is an arm's length discussion and negotiation over the terms for carriage. We were not able to reach mutually acceptable terms.
All right, Mr.
I want to get to this hearing because they're going to have some good questions coming up right now. But we also have Schumer about to go live with the Democrats to talk about the shutdown. Looks like they got a whole board here. And let's see, are they walking in now? I'll keep an eye on this, but listen to this.
You got a
I'm going to keep an eye on
bipartisan crew
this.
of folks over here standing together on this issue.
When that goes live, I'm going to put that on.
I certainly hope that as all the smarter lawyers and all the people that are arm's length that are listening to this right now get a chance to fix this, they fix this. We all want this done. Please make sure you do that, because I have constituents that can't get information that are your subscribers. Appreciate the time, Mr. Chairman. I yield back.
Here we go. This right here. Let's see what he has to say. This is Schmidt.
This topic obviously is important to me as the guy who filed Missouri versus Biden. I'm sure you're all aware of that in your witness prep, and also who filed got the first antitrust win against Google for their monopoly on search. I have a few questions. I want to start with you, Mr. Erickson. Let's talk about search. During the 2024 election, while Google search was an illegal monopoly according to the court, it was repeatedly biased against President Trump. If you searched, where can I vote for Donald Trump, Google showed nothing. Is that correct? You're aware of this, right?
Senator, I am not aware of that.
Okay. Well, if you searched for Donald Trump, you couldn't find it. Meanwhile, if you searched, where can
Let me tell you guys, in the times that I was like switching from the left to the right, and I had switched over, and I was already kind of to the right, I was freshly switched over from the left to the right, liberal to conservative. I would search for Donald Trump and search for his where he went to speak publicly and to kind of listen. And it was crazy because every time I searched for Donald Trump, like, you know, public, let's say whatever I was searching for, it would the first like 3, 4, 5 things on Google were Kamala Harris and Biden. It was absolutely crazy, bro. It was actually true, and it was bizarre. And it wasn't because of my algorithm. I went to friends' phones and different phones. I checked all kinds of shit, and it was crazy.
I vote for Kamala Harris? A precise polling place showed up. That's interesting, isn't it? Would that be, if those facts are true, would that indicate some political bias?
Senator, I can assure you there is no political manipulation of our search results.
Interesting. Okay. So after President Trump was shot or attempted to be assassinated at Butler, if you typed a search for President Trump and assassination, nothing came up. How is that possible?
So, Senator, let me give you some context
very quickly, because I have a bunch of questions.
Yes, Senator. So when people are entering a search query into Google search box, we will often we will fill that out based on the machine learning of our platform that has seen similar type of requests to make it fast.
So the question is, so no one typed President Trump assassination Butler?
Senator, the reason that didn't appear for a short period of time was it would have been irresponsible for us to, before that event
I thought you might say that. That is not true for other assassination attempts, including Charlie Kirk. So I also want to ask you, when you type in President Donald, Google would prompt you to President Donald Duck or President Donald Reagan, not President Trump, in the lead up to the 2024 election. Is that just a coincidence?
Senator, we are very proud that Google Search is the most trusted platform for information.
Here we go.
Well, you have a monopoly. That's why. It's not because of what you're doing.
We're going to go back to this hearing.
Good morning, everybody.
But this is live.
Proud to be joined by Senator Klobuchar, our ranking member on agriculture, and Senator Lujan, our ranking member on the subcommittee dealing with SNAP. So look, right now we're staring down the barrel at two crises at once. A healthcare crisis and a hunger crisis, and both are caused by one man, Donald Trump. We're now 3 days from open enrollment. Today, the window shopping begins. People are going to see drastic increases in their healthcare costs. People are going to sit at the dinner table Friday night with a hole in the pit of their stomach and saying, how are we going to do this? We can't afford another $4,000 or $5,000 a year, $10,000, even $20,000 in some cases for health care.
What's up,
Nathan? How are we going to
Nathan?
do without health care, but how are we going to pay for health care? And now, for the first time in history, a president, Donald Trump, is refusing to fund SNAP during a shutdown. 42 million Americans, hungry children, middle-class families someone's lost the job, veterans, senior citizens who struggle to pay for their food. All of these people will lose their SNAP benefits, not because the money's gone, not because it's not permitted, because Donald Trump ordered it stopped.
What's up, Wake Up?
Donald Trump is a vindictive politician and a heartless man. Let's be clear, this does not need to happen.
Sounds like he's talking about himself.
Never before, under any president, Democrat or Republican, has SNAP been cut off in a shutdown, and Trump knows he can do it. Here's what he said. Yeah, everybody is going to be in good shape. Yup. Donald Trump, when asked if he would fund SNAP next month, that's what he said this October. But then all of a sudden, seeing how badly they're losing on health care, he decided to use these 42 million innocent Americans as pawns. Back in 2016, here's Sonny Perdue, the agriculture secretary. They funded it under Trump. In the last shutdown, rather 2019, January 8th, 2019. They funded it. So don't believe the bull, and I hope in every story you will write that they can fund it on their own. And I'll tell you something else. John Thune is responsible. The Hawley bill now has 11 Republican co-sponsors and many, many Democrats, including myself, Senator Klobuchar, and Senator Lujan. We have all co-sponsored the Hawley bill. Today, tomorrow, if John Thune would put it on the floor, it would pass overwhelmingly. But he's afraid of Trump. He's going along in this heartless, cruel thing with Trump. Just a few weeks ago, Trump's own U.S. Department of Agriculture confirmed it had $6 billion in emergency funding to keep food aid flowing. When asked about SNAP at that point, here's what he said. Yep, everybody's going to be in good shape. That means he's got the money, folks. And these Republican lies, plain and simple, that they don't have the money, are lies. But they're vicious lies. They're hurtful lies. They're harmful lies. Okay? Last Friday, all of a sudden, Trump ordered that the USDA delete the
Fucking man, that's a good one.
plan and
Bingo card.
refused to use the money. No reason, no explanation.
Wake Up says, this guy in the chat, he says, this guy's an absolute scumbag trying to keep up with lifestyle he made off taxpayers, bro.
Plain cruelty. Cruelty that even Trump back in 2019 didn't do, but he's gotten so much worse and so much meaner and so much more desperate because he knows the American people are turning against him on health care.
Did you hear what he said? He's gotten so much meaner. He just called Trump, he's gotten so much meaner.
And as Amy will mention a little later, on SNAP.
Tell us actual facts or something specific.
Well, so Trump
Not about how he hurt your feelings when he spoke and he said some words that you didn't like.
is weaponizing hunger.
How?
He's turning millions of children and seniors and veterans into political pawns.
How?
He's choosing politics over people, cruelty over compassion.
How? You're just saying things and not saying what is going on. You're not substantiating anything. It sounds like what your party is doing.
And let's be
It's projection. We said it before. Remember what Elmo said? Confession through projection. They are like this, and they are projecting their own ideology onto us.
Be clear about this. They've been on a crusade.
Onto Trump.
The Republicans have been on a crusade against SNAP all year. They slashed it by $200 billion this summer to pay for their tax cuts for billionaires. So they've never wanted SNAP, and they don't want it now. But as
We don't want you.
These 40 million innocent people as pawns, it's a disgrace.
American citizens don't want you. Not even your own party wants you, bro.
They can end it right now. Amy.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Leader, and thank you to...
Wake Up. I have these on for sale on my website, but I think I'm completely sold out. I have a new style coming soon, so it's going to be exactly the same, just I think minus the underline right here.
Senator Lujan for leading a very important bill, which would restore...
Okay, I'm going to have to vote. I'll be right back.
Okay, thanks. Okay, now we're say whatever we want here. A very important bill that would restore the SNAP funding, and that bill, like the Hawley bill, we could pass right now. Senator Lujan's bill that I'm co-sponsoring with him, he's the lead of the subcommittee on agriculture, actually includes WIC as well, so I'm partial to it. But the point is that both bills we're supportive of. And so Senator Thune should call these bills up. He should call both of them up immediately, and as Senator Schumer said, they would pass. So that's why this is such a false crisis. Why is it actually a crisis? Because the House isn't here. So if we pass the bill because they're afraid to vote on the Epstein files, it will sit over in the Halloween candy jar of Speaker Johnson, where, by the way, the candy is 10% more expensive because of the Trump tariffs. Secondly, that money, as Senator Schumer has explained, is there. There is $6 billion with a B, dollars that are set aside in a contingency fund for things like this. And one of the things that really bothers me about this is that they clearly knew that this could happen, and they actually had on
Brett Vincent says she sounds a few shots deep.
their website. I know many of you have
She's already a little slizzer.
a plan that was not issued under the Biden administration.
She's chilling. Look at her eyes. She's chilling, bro. She had a good, nice little morning, couple drinks.
It was issued under the Trump administration, and we screenshot it, so we have it. No one denied that it was out there. It's now magically disappeared like the East Wing, and it's
Or a Zanny, bro. Yeah, exactly.
says it.
Maddie.
It says the
Chasing Bracelet says she popped a Zan.
receipts were these. This plan said congressional intent is evident. Congressional intent.
And then she offset it with an upper.
That SNAP's operations should continue during a shutdown, and multi-year contingency funds are also available to fund participant benefits in the event that a lapse occurs. So there it is. We would call that a smoking gun in my old job as a prosecutor. They had it on their own website. They took it down at the administration's direction.
Yep.
So they have the money there.
She's on a heavy downer and offset that with a little bit of an upper, and so she's able to kind of.
Or they can fund it through legislation. So let's just make that clear. Then let's go to the second question. Why are they doing this now? Guess we could ask the same question. Why did Trump pardon George Santos?
What was Biden on right here? What was Biden on right here, guys?
Eligible for what I've been able to do with the with the COVID. Excuse me, with dealing with everything we have to do with. Look, if we finally beat Medicare.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump?
Well, he's right. He did beat Medicare. He beat it to death, and he's destroying Medicare.
No, he's not, Jesse.
When a lot of people in the Republican side in the House never would have wanted that to happen. Why did he suddenly ask for $230 million from the Justice Department? Why did he say he was going to run a third term and then back down? Steve Bannon put it out there. Why are all these things happening? Dominate the news every single day. Well, they think they can fool the American people. They're seeing their premium increases now. No matter how many things they throw out there, no matter how many families they threaten to starve, the fact is the premium notices November 1st is the date. It's not a December thing. It's not a January thing.
Slim says, I had to shut the debate off at that moment. Dude, it was insane watching the debate at that moment. We're like, what the?
What the? What the? That's amazing.
That was crazy time, bro. That was insane.
It's a now thing. And when you...
But about this shutdown and about how it's affecting everybody and all this kind of stuff and all this going back and forth, Democrats saying this, Republicans saying that. And the truth, we know the truth is the Republicans need the Democrat votes to pass their bill. I think we have to go through this and we have to put people on, I guess, the SNAP benefits or whatever it is that ends up expiring and whatever hardships that have to go down for these people to actually look around and start doing the research and find out who's behind this. Get to the bottom of it.
As we have done in going into a number.
And these people will be exposed, bro.
Of red states. Senator Kaine and I did a press call yesterday.
Ange says their butts really hurt with this third term.
In Texas.
Dude, yesterday I was wearing my Trump hat at the gym, and the guy walks up to me. He goes, "Dude, so what do you think? Is he gonna win the third term?" I go, "Dude, as I said before, the left has been repeating this third term thing so much that they're gonna manifest it into reality."
75% of the people, 75% of the people who are on the Affordable Care Act live in states that Donald Trump won. And they may not be in this building today. They may not be the people that you all talk to when you're walking around the hallways and see what people think about what's happening right now in America. But the people out there, they know their costs are up, they know that chaos is up, they know that corruption is up.
And all of these Democrats know that the money that was feeding them from the NGOs and the USAID money is drying up. That's why they're fighting so hard for this bill, because still baked in, they want baked back into the bill. They want their NGO money, they want their USAID money, and that's going to be gone. So they're kicking and screaming. They don't care if the Americans go hungry. They don't care if people don't have their welfare money. They don't care if people don't get paid, government workers don't get their pay, because they want their USAID and NGO money. That's why they're fighting so hard right now.
And healthcare is the major driver of their costs. But
they don't even care about the illegal aliens. They do, but they more so they care about their NGO money and their USAID money that they get indirectly.
You add in their garden equipment, tools, audio equipment. These numbers are skyrocketing right now because of the Trump tariffs and because of the inability to even come to the table to talk about health care with us. He's off flying around, meeting with all these
W chasing, W wake,
negotiating with them, doing photo ops.
Exactly.
Well, we're here in this building waiting for him to call up our leaders to go and negotiate on this, the thing that is the number one thing on Americans' minds, and that is their costs and the cost of their health care.
No, it's your money that you want to get from the NGOs, because that's what you base your whole life on. You won't survive without that NGO money. Be honest with yourself.
So I turn it over to Ben Wright.
Thank you, Amy.
Dude, what are they gonna do when they run out, when the NGO money is gone? They're gonna be a mess, bro. You're gonna see them on the stage looking even worse than they look now.
Thank you so much. Did she say anything I wouldn't like?
There we go. There we are.
Look, you all, I appreciate this room being full. I'm getting a chance to visit with you in the hallways, but also here. I mean, this shows the interest here.
This guy's annoying, bro.
I'm going to repeat something Senator Schumer shared, and it goes to Secretary Perdue. This funding for SNAP has never lapsed in the history of the
funding for your NGOs has never lapsed, and it's about to lapse.
United States. Last shutdown under President Trump.
Random is right. Random says they will start selling their, let me back up. Random says they will have to start selling stocks and property. Radio News Now. What's up? He says, shut up. He says, shut up, clown. You don't know what you're talking about. You just stirred up bullshit. You're just as bad as redhead guy. Effing redhead guys. What does that mean?
Found a way to use this money. As a matter of fact,
is he talking to me or the guy up on the stage?
Fund this year was already utilized to pay for staff for SNAP. They already tapped it once. And that plan that Senator...
Oh, NP has a good idea. He says they can go raise money on OnlyFans. That'd be interesting.
Senator Klobuchar talked about?
Only... Senators on OnlyFans.
Here it is. Why would this magically disappear from the website? And why Speaker Johnson lying to the American people saying, oh, the law does not allow for this to happen. It's bull.
He says that guy is calling someone a soulless ginger.
Shit. I'll say it. I come from a small farm. I know the difference of good soil and the bullshit that goes in it, and this is the bullshit. Taking these plans down to try to lie to the American people and justify why it's okay for people to go hungry. 40 million people, plain and simple. 40 million people that are going to miss a meal in the United States of America.
Really, aquariums?
And I want to commend every one of my
Actually?
Democratic colleagues that is a co-sponsor of this legislation.
Nikki says gingers have souls. I never heard this thing about soulless gingers.
And many
I don't
of
know
us
what that
are
is.
co-sponsors of Senator Hawley's legislation, including all of my Republican colleagues. I was asked a question earlier today by one of the journalists about, what's getting in the way of this. Well, President Donald Trump, Secretary Rowlands, and now Leader Thune.
Oh, it's from South Park. I see. Oh, Aquarium says it was in the news. Google it. Wow, really? Staffers are in their buildings filming gay
He's
porn?
not
What the
allowing
hell?
a vote on a floor that has bipartisan support, and heck, it could just be a UC. Which Republican's going to stand up and object to their constituents eating? And by the way, while New Mexico is at the top of the list,
Dude, Random says you never heard about Democrat staffers filming in the House? I never heard of
of
it.
states that will be impacted per capita of SNAP beneficiaries, Louisiana's in the top 5. Third. I'll remind you the state that the Speaker of the United States House
Oh
of
my
Representatives
God,
is
are
from.
you serious,
I
bro?
hope his constituents find him. I hope the Republican colleagues, I think Leader Schumer, you shared with us, it's 75 now. 75 House Republicans that have told the press something has to be done to prevent health insurance premiums from doubling. They should come to Washington, D.C. They don't need to wait for.
He's right, dude. Oh, wow. This is USA Today. DC buzzing about a Senate sex scandal. What it says about the way we discuss it. Wow, bro. Wow.
Because there's.
We got to get back to this video, though, because this guy, Schmidt, is my man, and he's putting it down.
For the Speaker to invite him. Come down here. Let's get together. If the Speaker doesn't want to get in a room, how about the rest of us get in a room? I'll close with this. Chuck, as I turn this back to you. We had a governor from New Mexico, Bruce King, cattle rancher.
Wow.
And he always used to tell folks, if you can't come up with the solution, sometimes you need to lock them up in a barn until they come up with the solution. Well, Mr. President, come back from jetting around the world, get back to the White House.
Nikki in the chat says only one Democrat co-sponsored the S3024 to keep SNAP funded Act.
President Trump said
Only
it's up to
one.
a president to prevent a shutdown. He said it does not bode well for presidents if there's a shutdown. Well, come on back. Bring everyone back.
Object first. Yes.
You've said that there are legislative solutions. Obviously, you said that the administration should tap into the contingency fund. But come the weekend, if SNAP does run out, tens of millions of Americans will go hungry. Are you getting a sense from your Democratic colleagues that the pain of that and other aspects of the shutdown might outweigh this fight?
My Democratic colleagues are united in the fact that Trump and the administration can do this, not this weekend, tomorrow, today, right away. Every Democrat is a sponsor of Lujan's bill, and that's how we feel. Yes.
Thank you so much. Irrespective of the dispute on whether USDA contingency funds can be used for SNAP benefits.
It is not, wait a minute, excuse me. It is not a dispute. It is fact they can use it, and the Republicans say it.
Okay, but there's, only 5 or 6 contingency funds can be used for SNAP benefits.
It is not.
The dispute on whether USDA contingency funds can be used for SNAP benefits.
It is not, wait a minute.
Thank you so much.
She's talking about the USDA,
Of the dispute on whether USDA contingency funds can be used.
whether USDA contingency funds can be used to continue funding SNAP. She said about the debate of that, and he's saying it's not a debate.
It is not, wait a minute, excuse me. It is not a dispute. It is fact they can use it, and the Republicans say it.
Okay, but there's, only 5 or 6 billion, and it's not cost $8 billion monthly just to administer. I mean, if anything, it would only last.
It does not cost $5 or $6 billion to administer. There's enough money to start feeding people right away. $6 billion's a lot of money, and they're using it for other things. $20 billion for Argentina, hundreds of millions for Kristi Noem's plane. Who are we kidding here? Yes.
She said specifically that if you guys couldn't hear, she said that it would cost $8 billion a month And in that contingency fund, there's only $5 billion. So what are you guys talking about?
Billion for Argentina, hundreds of enough money in the Republic. That's how we feel. Wait a minute, excuse me. It is not a dispute. It is fact they can use it, and the Republicans say it.
Okay, but there's, only 5 or 6 billion, and it's not cost $8 billion monthly just to administer. I mean, if anything, it would only last.
It does not cost 5 or.
I'm going to play that again. I'm going to turn this volume up so you can hear what she's saying. I don't know. Could you guys hear what she was saying? I don't know.
Funds can be used for SNAP benefits.
It is not, wait a minute, tomorrow, today, right away.
Thank you so much. Irrespective of the dispute on whether USDA contingency funds can be used for SNAP benefits.
It is not, wait a minute, excuse me. It is not a dispute. It is fact they can use it, and the Republicans say it.
Okay, but
right
there's,
here.
Only 5 or 6 billion, and it's not cost $8 billion monthly just to administer. I mean, if anything, it would only last.
It does not cost 5 or 6 billion to administer. There's enough money to start feeding people right away. 6 billion's a lot of money, and they're using it for other things. 20 billion for Argentina, hundreds of millions for Kristi Noem's plane. Who are we kidding here? Yes.
What happens once it runs out? If it only lasts 2-3 weeks, do Democrats fold then?
The bottom line is they can fund it just as in 2019, just as in other shutdowns, for a long period of time.
And they also, if
Go
the
ahead.
contingency fund, which is $6 billion, which gets you nearly a month, 3 weeks, runs out.
She just admitted it. So the $6 billion that's in the contingency fund would run out in 3 weeks. Okay?
Then they can pass Senator Lujan or Senator Hawley's bill, both of which we support. We know that there'll be 60 votes for that. Why aren't they calling it up? They're not calling it up because the House isn't here to pass it. That's the way it works. The House would have to come here. They probably would have to vote on the Epstein files, but they're choosing to let kids go hungry instead of having to vote on the Epstein files. There's no doubt about it. They have been out for 6 weeks on vacation.
Just think, if they have all this money for Argentina and all this money for other things, they have enough money to keep funding SNAP, and they know it. And I just want to say what Lujan said. Johnson just lies. He lied about on immigration, on the undocumented. He's lying about this. He just outright lies, plain and simple. It is not illegal, and his own president has done it. Yes.
Are talks ticking up as been indicated? Is there any conversation, any negotiation whatsoever happening behind the scenes? And if so, can you enlighten us on
Yeah, there are occasional talks between Democrats and Republicans on this issue, but our Republican colleagues don't seem to be offering anything different than what their leadership has had so far. We hope that will change. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Leader. Understanding what you're saying about Republicans' options here for SNAP and the contingency funds, are you saying Democrats have no responsibility for the fact that
We are saying the Republicans can fund it now, and they're using these people as hostages. Plain and simple. Next. That's the answer. The answer is they can fund it right now.
He's not answering her question. She's saying, are you not taking any responsibility? And he's not answering. Let's hear that again.
That's the answer. The answer is they can.
Understanding what you're saying about Republicans' options here for SNAP and the contingency funds, are you saying Democrats have no responsibility for the...
She says, are you saying Democrats have no responsibility?
We are saying the Republicans can fund it now, and they're using these people as hostages. Plain and simple. Next. That's the answer. The answer is they can fund it right now. Okay? Right now.
Leadership on SNAP and on healthcare broadly.
And by the way, we don't want to pit healthcare and food. They do. We think you can have both. Yes.
On SNAP and on the ACA, Leader Spoon said yesterday he had just spoken to President Trump and that the president would be willing to sit down with you next week to talk about ACA subsidies. Is that an acceptable offer for you? If the government opens, by the way, is that an acceptable offer for you?
We've always said, they always say, do it later. Do it later. Later, to quote Martin Luther King Jr. in his letter from the Birmingham jail, means never. They have had since March to do this. They've voted 3 times against it. So this idea, do it later, been there, done that. We have to do it now. The window opens. Thank you, everybody. on this subject?
No, said there was a Mondani. You gonna vote for him?
Look, the bottom line is very simple. I have a good relationship with him, and we're continuing to talk.
The vote is on Tuesday. What are you gonna do?
Politically biased. Let's talk about that for a second. Was George Washington black?
No, Senator.
Okay. Why did on your AI, why did it pop up on Gemini? Why did the image of the black George Washington pop up?
Apologies, Senator. That was an early version of Gemini. When that happened, that was a mistake. We took down the product. We put teams.
Wow, bro. Gemini, Google's Gemini made George Washington black, and they're admitting it, bro. Listen to this. What the hell? Oh my God, bro. Is this real?
Based on the machine learning of our platform that has seen similar type of requests to make it fast.
So the question is, so no one typed President Trump assassination Butler?
Watch this.
Senator, the reason that didn't appear for a short period of time
Hold on.
It would have been irresponsible.
It's right
for us
after
to,
this.
Before that event.
I thought you might say that. That is not true for other assassinations.
It's right after this.
Including Charlie Kirk. So I also want to ask you, when you type in President Donald, Google would prompt you to President Donald Duck or President Donald Reagan, not President Trump, in the lead up to the 2024 election. Is that just a coincidence?
Senator, we are very proud that Google Search is the most trusted platform for information.
Well, you have a monopoly. That's why. It's not because of what you're doing, because there's political bias. Let's talk about that for a second.
What here?
Was George Washington black?
No, Senator.
Okay. Why did on your AI?
Dude, I'm tagging this. What's the minute on this? This is at. Damn it! Where is this? Okay, so.
Okay. Why did it pop up on Gemini? Why did the image of the black George Washington pop up?
Apologies, Senator. That was an early version of Gemini. When that happened, that was a mistake. We took down the product. We put teams in place to fix that mistake, and we set up internal processes to ensure that it wouldn't happen again, and did not release that product until we were satisfied.
Well, okay. Well, according to a Hoover Institute study, you haven't fixed the underlying issue of the woke AI. You haven't. You may have fixed the fact that obviously George Washington wasn't black, but you still have a woke backbone to Gemini. And the great black box out there, and I've been through the litigation with you guys, the great black box is your search. And I'm telling you, it's politically biased. And until you reconcile this, you're going to continue to have an erosion of trust and hopefully more lawsuits. Because people do go on Google and they search.
Bro, Google's AI literally had a black George Washington, and they admitted it just now.
What they find is a politically biased. You could go to the members of this committee and search in what's on page one, news articles. I don't have time to do that. But it's astounding. It is astounding, and the difference between R's and D's is real. Mr. Erickson, I want to ask you, was your testimony, actually, I want to, well, let's stay with you. So Google recently sent a letter to Congressman Jordan explaining that the Biden administration tried to coerce Google, but you found it unacceptable and you didn't. So when Rob Flaherty, the deputy comms director for the White House, who's infamous for saying, "Are you guys effing serious?" I want an answer on what happened here, and I want it today, not to you guys, but during the height of the insanity. So you guys didn't succumb to any of that pressure from the White House to censor speech.
Senator, when we get communications from the Biden administration or the Trump administration or any government entity around the world, our trust and safety teams apply our terms of service and guidelines independently.
So, okay, so it was your decision to ban Dan Bongino on YouTube. It was your decision to ban RFK Jr. on YouTube. That was your decision alone, correct? Yes or no, please.
Senator, I'm not familiar with those specific
You can't have it both ways. You can't have it both. Dr. Jay Bhattacharya, who's now the NIH director, you banned content from him because he said masks were ineffective for kids. You were banning the hell out of conservatives left and right in that time period. So that's on you, I guess. You didn't succumb to the pressure, but Facebook did. Facebook did, and a Facebook employee, and Mr. Potts, I want to ask you, in July of 2021, in addition to Mark Zuckerberg admitting it, your testimony is interesting because your testimony today was that these were our decisions, no pressure. That's not what your CEO said. And maybe that's a litigation strategy because that case is still ongoing. I don't know. But you have emails from employees saying, because we were under pressure from the administration and others to do more, I was part of the MORE package. We removed 4 claims that multiple fact checkers labeled as false, even though we didn't have a harm assessment. We shouldn't have done that. You could go through emails that were uncovered in discovery. You could go through the letter from Mark Zuckerberg. You clearly were coerced by the Biden administration, but your testimony today is that's actually not true now, that these were all done in your own volition. Is that accurate? Which one is it?
Senator, I can't, I'm sorry, my eyesight isn't strong enough to make out that note. And I hate to speculate what perhaps potentially my colleague meant. However,
well, Mark Zuckerberg's letter to Jim Jordan said, we were, quote, repeatedly pressured to censor certain COVID-19 content. That's quote, the government pressure was wrong, and I regret we
Yeah, gas is $5 here in SoCal.
We didn't do more, and we were not more outspoken.
Or more, yeah. I think my premium gas is like $5.50 or so, depending on where I go.
That is correct. That is
so that your testimony is that you were coerced by the Biden administration. Is that accurate?
Senator, if I can add a bit of nuance here. We felt pressure from the Biden administration. We ultimately made those decisions of our own volition. We had our policies. We made those decisions. In hindsight, would we have made different choices with all the information we have today?
The Democrats' new favorite word is nuance.
I am sure we would make.
Now that you know that, just watch how often you hear that word from Democrats and people, protesters, Antifas, and all these retards out there.
Different choices.
Well, in closing, forgive me if the fact that the Biden administration wasn't threatening Section 230 protections they were threatening those protections to go away. They were threatening investigations. So the idea that you guys didn't succumb to pressure from the White House to censor exclusively conservatives and COVID-19 content is laughable. But thank you. I'm out of time.
Senator Rosen?
The word is nuance. Watch how often you hear it. Not here in this hearing, but I'm just saying in general, when you listen to Democrats from now on, just watch how often they use the word nuance.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Their new favorite word.
Appreciate.
But not to be outdone by their new other favorite words, socialism and communism, and of course anything with ism.
This hearing today.
And anything with a obia at the end of it, like Islamophobia.
And while I fundamentally agree that this committee must examine the state of free speech in the U.S., today's hearing, once again, misses the mark. This is now the second hearing to focus on accusations from years ago, rather than the near constant attacks the Trump administration has leveled against free speech rights today. Today, right here, right now, today. We still have not had Brendan Carr.
I've got a serious. Why not get out of that completely? Just say you're not going.
Where the money was.
Has a right to question these tech companies.
Use freely and criticize $1 million to President Trump's inauguration in January 2025. Many of those big
designed to protect. My concern is more with government efforts top down to dictate moderation choices to platforms.
Yeah, I mean, these are bad behaviors that we're learning from China. And you guys do business in all over the world, obviously. These are really bad behaviors. The First Amendment doesn't exist in China for a reason. And I just want to make sure that we're looking at all these things, that we understand that what I said at the beginning, that the antidote to all this is more speech, more freedom, more liberty. And also, I think both of you and both of your companies should understand how bad it went for you over the last 4 years, especially during COVID. I think, Mr. Potts, you said that, but you were in the room, and you also admitted that to your people that the censorship isn't neutral, that it is definitely has a political bias to it. And that's a problem. And I would just encourage you as a business person myself, is this, like I said, are you having fun? Is this what you want to keep doing? Why not? You don't need, for example, one single member of this legislature to tell you to put symbols on videos that are generated by AI. You don't need a law for that. You can do that today. You could literally text your...
Diane, what is hate speech?
tech team right now and say, hey, if you think a video is created by AI, flag it and said created
Diane, what is hate speech? I'm curious.
by AI. Why do you need Washington to tell you how to run your business? I would just leave you those thoughts, and you'll get more from my chairman here.
People to take. Question is intent and downgrade.
Saying death to America is hate speech.
Other content.
What? Give me other forms of hate speech.
So in essence, now, if you go back,
what else is hate speech?
to the community,
because that sounds like freedom of speech.
Bulletin board, right? And you say, I'm going to post up this up here, and I'm going to post this up here, and you guys are really just a place where people can go and see those postings. But the moment you all say, I'm not only going to allow this posted up here, I'm going to take it and duplicate it. And I'm going to duplicate it and duplicate it and duplicate it and duplicate it. Or I'm going to take it and put somebody else's on top of it. Is that really what Section 230 was for? And I'm going to, before I run out of time, I'm going to ask our lawyer here.
Live on the air.
Disagreeing.
We need some Jesse, guys.
Men are so weak. They've been so intimidated. Men are so weak. They've been so intimidated that they allow.
Yeah. Let me ask Diane a different question. What kind of speech? What's the reason for freedom of speech? What do you think is the reason for freedom of speech?
These women to do.
If it's not so that people can say things that you may not want to hear.
Just run wild and screw up everything. One of the greatest mistakes that America made was to allow women the opportunity to vote. Control the people, and the Democrats cannot be trusted at all.
Jesse, if the
violence
is a hoax, why would we need to cut? Why would we need to cut?
He says, hold on, Democrat. Hold on, Beta. Diane, freedom of speech and freedom of expression, the whole reason why we have that is to allow for people to say things that other people may not want to hear, or else there's no reason to even have a law or have that in our Constitution. Right? That's the whole purpose. Yeah, I think she took off. But amongst ourselves, we can all agree. Freedom of speech is there because we have freedom of speech. Here's Diane. She says, we have freedom of speech to say things, but when you say things like 8647, it's all freedom of speech. People may not want to hear it, but that's freedom of speech, and that's the whole reason for freedom of speech. Listen to him. He goes, "Hold on, Democrat. Hold on, Beta. Hold on. Watch this. Listen to him.
Hold on, Beta. Close the election.
Democrats cannot be trusted at all.
Jesse, if the violence is a hoax, why would we need to close the election? Why do we have to do that, Jesse? No, wait, why don't you explain yourself? Because you're conflicting.
Why are you always interrupting, man? Don't interrupt me. I didn't interrupt you.
Because you're a lying fool, and I don't want the people of the world to hear you.
I don't need you to interrupt me, Mr. Beta Male. Hold on. The president.
Yeah. Oh, you think I'm a beta male? Come on out here.
Hold on, beta male. The president and
come out
all
here,
of us.
Jesse. We'll see who's a beta male. Okay.
Hold on, man. We know that the Democrats. I said beta male.
Hold on, beta male.
Beta male.
Hold on, beta male.
Man, be a alpha male, not a beta male.
Man, I miss this Jesse, bro. I want the younger Jesse back. I want him on TV going at it, bro. Hold on, beta male. Oh, bro, it's so good.
Opportunity to vote.
I want to see it again.
Control the people. And the Democrats cannot be trusted at all.
Jesse, if the violence is a hoax, why would we need to
hold
on, Beta.
Close the election. Why do we have to do that, Jesse?
Beta male.
No, wait, why don't you explain yourself? Because you're conflicting.
Why are you always interrupting, man? Don't interrupt me. I didn't interrupt you.
Because you're a lying fool, and I don't want the people of the world to hear you.
I don't need you to interrupt me, Mr. Beta Male. Hold on.
The president.
Yeah. Oh, you think I'm a beta male? Come on out here.
Hold on, beta male. The president and
Come out
all
here,
of us.
Jesse. We'll see who's a beta
We
male.
know. Hold on, man. We know that the Democrats. I said the
leads you
order
to
of
believe that
God.
men are superior to women, which is a book that is a lie because Jesus Christ himself was a socialist who believed in equality and fought for women and minorities.
What the?
Okay.
What the?
I just want
What
to
the?
blend in as a woman.
What the?
That's all I want to do. I do a pretty good job of it. I just want to blend in as a woman. That's all I want to do. I do a pretty good job of it.
No, you don't look like a woman at all.
Besides my chin, if I hide my chin, yes, I do.
You
Yes,
gotta
I
do.
Jesse.
You gotta do more than that.
he just
What the?
Look at this.
My chin, if I hide my chin, yes, I do.
You gotta
Yes, I
do.
Jesse.
You gotta do more than that.
Well, that's your opinion.
No, I can. Stevie Wonder can see that you're not a woman.
Oh! Damn, bro. Damn, dude. Stevie Wonder can see that you're not a woman. And for those of you that don't know, Stevie Wonder is blind. Wow, bro. Oh my God. This is just incredible.
Blend in as a woman. That's all I want to do. I do a pretty good job of it.
No, you don't look like a woman at all.
Besides my chin, if I hide my chin, yes, I do.
You gotta
yes,
do.
I do, Jesse.
You gotta do more than that.
Well, that's your opinion.
No, I can. Stevie Wonder can see that you're not a woman.
See, I'm not an adult entertainer. Okay, I don't go to clubs and do shows and dance.
Oh,
I'm a proper lady. I'm just an average woman. What is funny?
Oh God.
I put here, is Stevie Wonder blind? It says, yes, Stevie Wonder is blind, and he has been since birth due to a condition called ROP.
What are you laughing at, Jesse?
I'm laughing at you. That you won't debate him. That you have cold feet. And that you are a beta male. Beta male. If it's true, beta male. And by the way, Sam said he is an alpha male. Alpha male, not a beta male. And that you are afraid to debate him, Stephen. And that your father should stop allowing you to be beta. Beta. Debate Sam, Stephen. Don't be afraid. Don't be a beta male.
Beta male.
Let me know how it goes.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir.
God bless you and happy Black History Month.
Yeah, thank you. Whatever that is.
Whatever that is.
Abnormal for a man to be a liberal or progressive is a sign of being a beta male.
I didn't know that.
Because real men are conservative, Republican, and strong in nature. A man would not want a slut to be the mother of his children.
That's not true.
Miss Medication's over here. She says, you're yelling beta male. Come over, say hello. Come on. No. Okay. She's busy.
Not real men.
She's in the kitchen. She's busy.
What is a real man, Jesse? What is...
Here's one of my favorite parts, and I recorded this. I have this on my soundboard, bro. This is the best thing ever. Listen to this. He says, slut.
You're a slut.
You're a slut.
You're a slut.
The T, slut.
You're a slut.
And then she says, well, what does that make you if you have sex with...
Well, what does it make you if you have sex with different women?
A slut maker.
Check.
He's a real man. You?
Yes.
Well, Jesus was black.
If I became conservative, would I no longer be beta?
You would become alpha.
Well.
Oh, you a slut.
Oh my God, bro. This is so good. I love it.
I don't know what a slut is. How about that?
You don't know what it is, but you're here supporting it. Hashtag Black Lives Matter, Free Palestine, Free the People, and no DAPL.
I do.
And why don't you have hashtag Free the Jews?
What I advocate for is taking away from the boss 15 loaves of bread, helping him have 10 loaves of bread, and then taking the rest of the 10 loaves of bread and distributing it evenly amongst the other employees. So all of a sudden,
Mr.
you
Blind
have
piano
7,
player
or
Stevie
you have
Wonder
8.
is lying about being blind and can see just fine. Music legend Stevie Wonder has been blind since he was a baby, but there's a big conspiracy theory that he's not because he does things like perfectly catch falling microphones right into—
Dang, bro. This is what Random just sent. Oh, Aquarium says check caller line. Mia is waiting. Dang, bro. Give me 1 sec. What's up? What's up? Hang on 1 second. Hang on 1 second. Can you hear me, Mia? Hello? 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 Mia, can you hear me? Mia! Mia! Hello? Mia, you're on live. Hello? Okay, we'll come back. We'll come back. We'll come back.
to his hand. Frequently sit courtside at NBA basketball games.
I've been spending my whole life with him thinking he can see. I know he can see.
Stevie can see. It's just an act. Stevie walks on stage, walks to me, looks me dead in my eye and says, Anthony, get me to a piano. I was like, Stevie, well, hell, if you just walked to me, you could have walked to the piano. He caught himself and had to play it off.
Door opens, it's Stevie Wonder.
And then walks to an elevator.
Says, what's up, Shaq? Presses the button.
I'm going to tell you what Stevie has to say about this rumor, but before I do, make sure you subscribe so you finally know the craziest conspiracy theories about each of these celebrities and requests you want to see next. And TMZ point blank asked him if the
Aquarium says, you got a taste of an angry European lady there. Mia, you were on live, girl.
conspiracy theory about him being able to see is true, all he said was, it could be. What? Mr. Blind piano player Stevie Wonder.
Dang, bro. We gotta look into that. I'll be the judge of that.
And your new friend, who is the undocumented citizen who came in, has 7.
Is that a question?
No, this is.
You don't look like a slut. Are you here by accident?
In every animal species throughout hundreds and thousands of years, there's been homosexuality.
Aquarium said she was one step away from beating someone with a clog with those big wooden Netherland, Hollandy little boom. Those things are heavy, bro.
So what is abnormal about it?
I agree with you that they act like animals.
No, this is.
You don't look like a slut. Are you here by accident?
In every animal species throughout hundreds and thousands of years, there's been homosexuality. So what is abnormal about it?
I agree with you that they act like animals, but that's because they're in a fallen state. And any human being that's in a fallen state act like an animal.
I am a nurse.
A nurse?
Beta!
Beta! Are you the head of your wife?
I like to think that we're equal.
Are you the head?
Beta! Beta!
I
am an animal.
I am a nurse.
A nurse?
Yes.
Beta! Ramar, are you the head of your wife?
I like to think that we're equal.
Are you the head? Beta!
Beta!
I am a, no. I'm an alpha.
Not if you think you and your wife are equal. Beta!
Oh, because I tell you what.
Dude, I love the way his head moves when he says beta. And his body, he puts his whole body into it, bro. Watch this. It's so good, bro. I love this shit. Look at his whole body.
Ramar, are you the head of your wife?
I like to think that we're equal.
Are you the beta?
I am no. I'm an alpha.
Not if you think you and your wife are equal. Beta.
Oh, because I
Beta.
And my stepmom thought I was getting an attitude, and she got really mad that I said that to her. And so not even like 2 minutes later, my dad called me.
Beta.
I told my dad.
Oh, poor daddy feeling hurt.
Poor.
Beta. Mark, welcome back.
Good morning, Jesse Lee, and happy Indigenous Peoples Day.
I was trying to get you to tell me exactly what Trump had done to achieve those so-called achievements, and you moved on to the Democratic Party. It's a very strange interview. I've never experienced anything like it.
Well, that's the first time in life for everything. Let me ask, would you want to take a shower with some guy who decides that he feels like a woman, and there you are in the shower, he walk into and just take off his clothes and get in there with you?
If you were alone, you would not be able to increase your productivity. You would not be able to create more loaves of bread.
That's why I hire someone.
Exactly.
But they don't have to work for me if they don't want to.
I know, but where would they
They
go?
are the
They would
ones
go
who
to
agree.
another. They would go to another factory where they would have the same conditions.
No, I would call the police and tell them that I have an illegal alien here.
And that is
You need to
capitalism.
come
You're
and
right.
get
That
him.
is exactly the problem.
No, they have no business in my company or in my country. And so I would call the police.
The leakies, which are scientists out of
Forget about a leaky.
They have a role to play in dismantling that ideology that puts them in their own minds and in the white imagination ahead of people of color.
Amazing. Do you realize you're fighting an illusion?
I am a writer. I am a Latina. I am Boricua. I'm a mother. I'm a poet. I'm an artist. I'm all the things.
Are you a slut? Why do black people see white? Well, most blacks, not all. The good ones don't. But why do most black people like yourself see white people as supreme over them?
Well, if going out on a date with a guy makes me a slut, then that's just what I'm going to be.
I don't think going out on a date makes you a slut, but having sex with different men makes you a slut.
Well, what does it make you if you have sex with different women?
A slut maker.
A slut maker. Oh, wow.
Black Lives Matter is a far-left, liberal, radical, agitative organization founded by a bunch of black lesbians and homosexuals and
Mr. Peterson,
radical
I suggest you give...
Okay,
wait a minute.
Mr. Peterson, you're now descending into extremely unpleasant and frankly vile rhetoric. And I don't know why you think this is appropriate to say this on national television, but what you just said is completely unacceptable.
This song is for Enrique Morones.
My daughter is, and my stepson is. My daughter is, daughter's 7. My daughter is, and my stepson is mixed.
Oh, we need white babies.
We need white babies? We got one. We got one.
Do you believe that racism exists?
Of course.
Do you have any proof of that?
Yeah.
Well, give me an example of proof.
Proof that racism exists?
Right.
Are you serious?
Yes.
You can't even be serious.
Why not?
Slavery? How about we take decades, the 50s, the 60s? I'm talking to...
W. Chelsea, she says, I work full-time. I'm a director of a nonprofit. And my husband is still 100% head of the household, and I'm grateful for it. I like being a passenger princess. Not gonna lie, he is the best. And you right there just described Miss Medication. Have you seen her yet? I'll have her come on in a sec, but she loves being a passenger princess. She loves it. And Min too, W Min.
Do you believe racism exists?
No.
You don't? You don't believe racism exists?
I know racism doesn't exist. Did you know that once you go black, you can't go back?
Yes, you can. Did you know you can? You can go Mexican, Puerto Rican, Asian. You can go wherever you want.
Amazing. But why are they complaining? I mean...
We had a black president.
Oh, no. What a mess, huh? I mean that the Asians probably make it more than the black.
That's my guess.
Dude, Nick Fuentes, if you guys missed it, in that interview or that podcast with Tucker Carlson, Nick Fuentes said that men are the responsible party. Currently, the issue that we have right now in society is men are the responsible party without the authority.
Do you know why that is, if it's true?
Yeah.
Why?
Because of suppression and power and racism.
No.
Why?
Because the blacks are lazy and they're just sitting back murmuring.
I do rely on my mom for a lot of things.
Beta! When you were 5 years old, you were sick and he called you the P word?
Yeah, he called me a P word, the B word. Said stop being a little,
Were you acting like a little beta baby?
Maybe.
Is it a boy or a girl?
Oh, just a little girl.
State line, bro.
Beta! What a girl.
Beta!
Beta girl! Jason, you could have been straight up, man. Be a alpha male, not a beta male. No children or anything?
No.
Do you regret not getting married, having children now that you're older?
Well, and I'm gay.
You're gay?
Yes.
You don't look gay.
We come in all shapes and sizes, bro.
I made a reel out of this, and it has like over 1 million views already in like 7 days. Let's see where it's at. Let's see where that reel's at. Let's go here. Let's go here. And let's go to my reels. Oh, here he is. Oh, let me go to this so you can see the views. 1.7 million views. This one right here. Is Miss Medi singing? No. No.
I'm gay.
This reel I made of what you just saw, I'm at 1.7 million views already. Check this out.
So you're gay?
I'm gay.
I didn't know you were gay.
Yeah, well, I just told you.
How did you become gay?
One doesn't become gay. One is born that way.
And so, have you been with men?
Of course.
Like sexually?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
That's mind-blowing.
This is mind-blowing for you?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Really?
Because I never expected a priest and a father of Epiphany Church to be gay.
That you
don't
sounds like
look
you're
gay.
coming from the assumption. What's look gay mean?
You know, switchy and soft looking.
Really? That's what you call stereotyping.
Oh, but
that's called. That's like if I were to say to you, "Well, you're black. Where's your fried chicken?"
I was at the house and I can't wait to get home to eat it.
I love it.
So you gay?
So you okay? Okay, guys, I'm going to show you my Great White Hope shirt. You guys can check it out. That's my Great White Hope shirt right there. And I'm going to go, guys. I'm going to call it a session, and I'll be back on. I'm going to probably do 3 sessions today. So I'll probably be back on around like in a couple of hours, and then I'll be back on in the evening again. So, guys, thank you guys for coming along. What's up, Jennifer Tapia, Solomon, Chelsea, Kev Dog, even though we may disagree. Random, I'm going to jump on Discord with you. Thank you, bro. Appreciate it. I'm going to jump on. And thanks for reminding me, man. Sean Kearns, Chasing, Jen, State Line, Random, everybody. Random, I'm going to talk to you in just a second as soon as I get off. And Sean Kearns, Forever MAGA. NP. Great to see the SoCal vibe minus the crazy. Yes, sir, baby. Are you out here, SoCal NP? Where you at, bro? Buck Snort. Cheers, bro. Kev Doc says, I am a beta.
The Great White Hope. Beta, beta.
You are a Trump, Kev Dog, you are a Trump hater, and you are a beta male.
You are a Trump hater, and you are a beta male.
Just kidding, bro. I don't know. Actually, I wasn't paying attention, so I couldn't tell you. Oh, you're in Washington State? Okay, cool. Right on, right on, right on. Guys, thank you so much. I'll be back on in a little bit. See you soon.